What is going on, everyone? Today we are going to work on getting our player to have feet, basically. We want him to have legs so that he doesn't just look like an upper body that's floating around. Because if you remember from our last episode, we constructed our player animations, and it's something definitely missing. It would be legs. He doesn't look like he's actually on the ground. He looks like he's floating. That's not right. So what we're going to do is we're going to create basically a secondary object that is going to be the feet. Now, in a way, that could be considered overkill for what we're doing, but it's really not, because our game objects are extremely lightweight. Like, there's very little going on here. It's basically just an animation with a position and a width and height. So what we're going to do is in our player class, what we're going to do is after we load our player's animations, I'm going to add a comment here to make things easier. Create the legs object. And what we're going to do here is we're going to create a new game object. And it's going to be game object legs equals new game object. Alright, and so legs is a new object. Let's give legs some properties. We're going to say legs dot x equals x. And legs dot y equals y. Legs dot width equals width, and legs dot height equals height. This ensures that the object is, as far as size and position goes, identical to the current object, which is test player. So we do that, and now, yeah, so real quick, I gotta double check something. In main, as far as I know, when we create a new object, we have to add it to the world. So we have to do the same thing here. Once we create legs, then we need to say world dot add object legs. And now legs is there. So let's run this. You should see nothing different from what we had before. Once we run this, we should just start and then, oh, we crash. That's why we're testing this, because we want to see why. What is going wrong? Got null pointer exception in render. And why is that? Renderer right here. Window.display. Is there something wrong with the window? Okay, no. Game loop. Renderer.render. Window.display. Null unthread game loop. Interesting. Where did it go wrong? Okay, GameObject.render. That's the thing. Because we went to GameObject.render and we said animations current animation.play. Here, this was not the smartest thing to do, because some game objects might not be visible and therefore will have no animation. So what we need to say is if animations current animation does not equal null, then we can play it. So let's run that now and see what happens. And it crashes again. And the reason why it's crashing is because animations itself might be null. So what we want to do is we want to say if animations does not equal null and animations current animation does not equal null. Because if animations is null, then we can't look for the current animation in the list, because the list itself doesn't exist. Oh, look at that. We failed again. Okay, I failed. You just following along. Okay. Game object 36, draw image. Oh. Okay. All of this should really only happen inside this if statement. Or for that matter, actually, we could take all of what's inside the if statement, put it outside here like it was, and then say if animations is equal to null, or animations current animation is equal to null, then return, because there's nothing to render. Okay, so let's run this again. Alright, now we've got we have non-failure. We have success. That's what it is. I don't use that word very often, so I don't know what it I couldn't think of it. So we have a success here. Now, really what we just did was more academic than anything, because some objects are going to be invisible, but this one isn't, so we didn't even have to do that just now, but it's a good thing to make sure that gets done. Because what we're actually going to do in test player, if I can find our test player class, after we create the legs object, we're going to give legs some animations. Right here we're going to say legs dot animations equals new animation array with a length of 2. I'm going to say legs dot animations 0 equals new animation. Sorry, there we go. There's a new animation. Legs dot animation 1 equals new animation. Legs dot animations 0 dot frames equals new image resource array with a length of, let's take a look in, okay, we don't have the feet animation thing imported yet, so I'm going to grab the feet folder from that thing that we created before. I'm going to drag it into res, copy files and folders. Okay, so a new image resource, so we will go res feet idle. There's only one frame, so a new image resource array with a length of 1 is all we need. Then we're just going to say that legs dot animations 0 dot frames 0 is equal to new image resource. The URL for that is going to be /res /feet /idle /survivor -idle _0.png. Alright, so that is that. Now, by default, that should play when we run this. So we're going to see if it works. It does, although something's a bit weird about the position and size of those. Also, they don't follow yet, but that's not the problem. Apparently, the legs, he's got some gigantic legs here. Let's adjust the width and the height right now. Let's say it's equal to width times 0.8 f times 0.8 f for the height also, because we want them to be smaller than him because they're not sized correctly to fit in automatically. Okay, so there it's working kind of well, but we need the position to be closer to where his position is. It's got to be offset by a little bit, you see. So what we're going to do, for right now, we'll just get him to follow, and then we'll fine-tune it later. And the way we get them to follow is in update. We're going to say, at the end of after we've changed our position with X and Y, then, let's say, after we've done our rotation also, we're going to say legs, actually small problem here. This here where we say game object legs equals new game object, let's make this a global variable called legs. So up here, the legs, we'll call it a public, actually it can be private game object legs equals null by default. So here, legs dot x equals x, legs dot y equals y. There we go. So now when we run it, the legs should follow along. They won't be in exactly the right position yet, as you can see, because we need to offset them a bit, but they do follow. Alright, so what we can do now is we're going to go ahead and add the run animation for the legs. For that, we just got to say legs legs dot animations 1 equals new animation. Legs dot animations 1 dot frames equals new image resource array with a length of, let's go take a look. We go to res feet run. We've got 20 frames. So new image resource 20. I'm going to say legs dot animations. We're going to put this in a loop because that's where this should be. We're going to create a for loop for int I equals 0. I is less than animations1.frames.length. Animationos again. Animations frames.length I++. There we go. And so we say legs.animations1.frames I equals new image resource. That's going to be /res/feet/run/survivor-run_ plus string.value of I plus .png. I think that's correct. And then what we're going to do is here, whenever we decide to play the current animation based on our movement, we're also going to say legs.currentAnimation equals 1. And here, legs.currentAnimation equals 0. Now, we're probably also going to have to set the frames per second for this running animation. So let's say legs.animations1. I keep misspelling animations. Animations1.fps equals 50, just like our upper body running animation. So let's run it and see what happens. Failure. Why? Check for concurrent modification exception. Why are we getting a concurrent modification exception? In world. Okay, we are getting a concurrent modification exception on game objects. That is correct. We are getting this error. It's the same reason why we created a concurrent linked queue for the tiles before. We'll fix this in the next video. So you might be getting this error. We're going to fix it in the next video because it's not something I want to have to work on right now, unless of course I have to. It's kind of hit or miss when it comes to concurrent modification. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. I just want to finish this video and work on concurrent modification in the next one. That's why I'm running this over and over, hoping one of these times we don't crash. Alright, fine. Alright, we're going to go into world here, and we're going to go ahead and fix this because it's going to get in the way. Really, we should have done it before, but I wanted to whip this up quickly before. Basically, what we've done here with concurrent linked queue for the tiles is the same thing we have to do for game object. So we're going to copy and paste concurrent linked queue over array list right here and right here to fix that. Fix our imports. Now here, as you can see, we got for tile in tiles, tile.render. Same thing here for game object go and game objects go.render. So everything's exactly the same, except that here when we do add object, we need to say gameObjects.offer rather than gameObjects.add. So that's really all we had to do differently there. Anyway, we run the game again, and you see this. This loads, and we get a failure as soon as we try to move. Why? That means something has gone wrong with our running animation. A null pointer exception. In animation, current frames.length, where did we make a mistake? Let's take a look at test player. Okay, animation 0 equals new animation. We did that. Animations 1.frames equals new image resource with a length of 20. Each frame is equal to a new image resource. So what's the problem? Okay, go.render, animations, current animation.play. Here, if current frame is greater than or equal to frames.length, that's indicating that frames is null, if we're getting a null pointer exception. Length isn't null because it's an integer. Current frame is also an integer. The only thing that we could be failing on is frames. Why would frames be null? That doesn't make any sense. Let's look here again. We said legs.animations0.frames equals new image resource, and here legs.animations1.frames equals new image resource. So frames is not null in any of these, as far as we know. So why is it failing? That doesn't make any sense. Let's run it again. And it crashed. Why did it crash? Null pointer exception. Let's check game object. Graphics. Saying we're getting a null pointer exception on this texture. What is going on? This is not normal. Graphics.draw image. The texture or the image is null. Why would it be null? Let's take a look again in test player when we load. Okay, so we've got /res/feet/run/survivor-run underscore string.value of I. Let me move this around a little bit. Animations 1.frames.length. Legs.animations 1.frames I. All of that is correct as far as I know. Let's print out what we're getting right here. System.out.println so we can compare it to what we're supposed to be getting in the image list. Let's go ahead and print that out. Run this again. Okay. And it crashes when we try to run. Let's see, did we load all of them? It says we loaded them all successfully. It's not until we tried to move that it failed that last time. But why did it fail that other time whenever we were just in loading? See, we fail when we try to move. Why would it fail then? Current frame is greater than or equal to frames.length. Which one is playing it? Current animation. So GameObject.render. Current animation. Current frame is greater than or equal to frames.length. This is peculiar. What is going wrong? Let's go into test player real quick. I'm going to print out a couple things real quick to find out what's going on. You don't have to follow along with me. System.out.println. I'm going to print out legs.animations 0. I'm going to print out that. Legs.animations 1. Also animations 0 and animations 1. Because I want to see what is going wrong here. Which one of these is null, if any of them? No, they shouldn't be null. The frame shouldn't be null either, but I think that's what it is null. Okay, those are all fine. What if we print out the frames object for each one? Let's do that. Run it again. Okay, one of them is null. Legs.animations1.frames is null. How is that possible? We just said legs.animations1.frames equals new image resource. So why is it null? Oh my gosh, how did I even make this mistake? Why is this even? Down here, legs.animations1 equals new animation. How is that there? Did I make a copy and paste error somewhere? That's one of the stupidest mistakes I could possibly have made. Hopefully you didn't do what I did, and if you did, hopefully you found it before I did, because that was a very stupid mistake for me to make. Let's test this again. Alright, and we see the animation for running plays. As you can see, his legs are not in the right place yet. They have to be offset. They also don't turn with him. We're going to work on getting those up in the next video. So hopefully this video has been insightful. You got to see more of my attempts at programming and how I still make some pretty basic mistakes despite having done this for like 10 years. So yeah, if you found this helpful, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave a like or subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. In the next video, hopefully we'll get this whole animation thing done, because this is taking quite a while. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.